What's up, everybody, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. I'm going to be describing to you exactly what you're going to go through when you step foot for your very first time in a jail, okay? First things first, you're going to get arrested, you're going to get put in a cop car, you're going to be taken to the jail. And the cop will always ask before you get into the jail if you have anything else on you to give it to him now, because if not, once you get into that jail, it's going to be another charge and a felony. And do not take that lightly. It's not a bluff game. A lot of cops, they will give you, or the jail itself will give you another charge, okay? Another felony, and you don't want that. So, when you get into the jail for the first time, the deputies are going to come out and they're going to start patting you down, okay? Everything, socks, everything's going to come off. Or you don't get butt naked just yet. But they do a good pat down with your clothes on, stuff like that. Most jails take the shoelaces out your shoes, or they just take your shoes, give you slippers, it doesn't matter. But usually, some jails, they leave the shoelaces on unless they put you in a cell. Once they put you in a cell, that's when they take the belt and the shoelaces until they dress you out in the clothes. Anyways, before the cell, you're obviously going to get your charges, your paperwork, and you're going to either go in front of the magistrate, okay? The magistrate is the person that determines whether or not you're going to get a bond. And once you go in front of this person, you're going to want to be an angel, okay? You are not going to be the convict that you are. You're going to go in there and act and playing the role, try to get that bond. And, for me, I never got a bond. If I did, it was only like once or twice, and after that, I just never got a bond anymore. But there's always hope for people that don't have any charges on their record at all. So the magistrate gives you a bond, no bond. Even if they give you a bond, it's up to you to find the bondsman. They give you a card or a list of people that you could call bondsmen. And you usually have to pay 10%. Let's say they give you a bond of $1,000. You got to pay 10% of that, which is only $100 to get out. So always keep that in mind. If you hear people getting bonds for like $2 million, they only got to pay 10% of that. Okay, 200 grand. So, yeah, keep that in mind. Now, if you can't afford a bond to get out or whatever, then you're going to be going to the population. Now, the first steps of going to the population are, after you leave the magistrate, they're going to put you in another holding tank, usually with a group of people, with a phone in there. And the phone is always a little complicated to use at first because nobody has their phones hooked up to the jail systems, okay? Every now and then there'll be a jail with a free phone that you can make some free calls or collect calls, and that works. But most of the time, the jail phones are hooked up to a system, okay? And your family has to have that system prepaid in order for you to make calls. Now, once you leave the magistrate, you're in the holding tank and you're waiting to get dressed out. They're going to fingerprint you. They also give you shots. They'll give you about 2 or 3 shots, I believe. One of them is a tuberculosis shot, okay, TB shot. And this is a very strange shot. It always freaks me out because they literally have to inject you with the virus, from what I heard. And, they inject it in the arm, and there's a little lump that stays there for about 48 hours, a lump in your skin, and they come back. The nurse usually comes back within 48 hours up to the population block to check your arm and make sure that it is not reactive to that shot. That's how they test for TB, okay, tuberculosis. If your shot starts to get red and the little area starts to get red and inflamed and infected, that's because you have tuberculosis. If it goes away, then you are A-okay. So yeah, they're going to give you some shots. They're going to take your fingerprints, make sure you don't have any warrants, anything like that, anything of that nature. If you got tattoos, they will make you take off all of your clothes and show them every tattoo that you have. And this was always a strenuous process for me because I got so freaking many, okay? And Once I take my shirt off and let them start taking all the pictures that they need to load into their database, usually someone from the gang squad will come down and check out my tattoos, or later on when I'm in population. They will check out the tattoos and ask you if you're affiliated with anything, and my answer every single time is absolutely not. I just like tattoos. Don't tell the cops you're a gang member, man. That's just gonna, that's just gonna lead to deeper and deeper charges, racketeering, and the RICO laws and stuff like that. Check them out if you don't know what they are. Anyways, so yeah, they're gonna take your pictures and tattoos and put them all in their database so they know exactly who you are if you get arrested again, or you don't tell them your name. They can just compare it by the tattoos. They also go by scars. And before you get that, they're going to ask you if you take any medications, if you have any prescription eyewear. And this is the main time to tell them these things, because once you get into population, it's going to be very hard to start getting all this stuff. You're going to have to put request forms in if you forgot to tell them about a medication or your glasses. And it just gets complicated. So it's best to tell them everything that you medically need when you first get in there, okay? They're going to take your blood pressure, temperature, all that stuff. They might ask you if you want a flu shot. You can deny that or not. It's all up to you. A lot of people in jail tend to deny the flu shot. They think it's some kind of conspiracy that they're just trying to kill inmates. I don't think so. I always got my freaking flu shot, okay? That's just ridiculous. But who knows? So once you get all that done, the paperwork, fingerprints, shots, pictures, and all this, that, and the third, they're going to give you your outfit. This is when they strip search you, okay? This is going to be your first time lifting up all your goodies, or squatting and showing them every fold on your body, okay? And, it is weird at first, but, after doing 8 years in prison on and off, it just became like second nature to me, man. It was like every time I went to visitation or anything, I would get strip searched. And it's a little weird, very dehumanizing. You feel like an animal, but you better get used to it. Just remember, it's just a body, man. It's just a body, okay? Bodies are machines. Don't be prideful. Don't be nervous or scared to get butterball naked in front of people, man. It's not a big deal, okay? They're not going to judge you and laugh at you if you don't have the right proportion of body parts or nothing, okay? They might laugh at you when you leave. Anyways, so yeah, they're going to strip search you. Then they'll give you your outfit, usually a jumper or a two-piece suit, sandals. They don't give you no socks or boxers, so if you watched my video before, make sure you have whites on, because usually most jails let you keep your white boxers and white socks. Also, they'll give you a little bottle of shampoo, one tiny skinny bar of soap. They give you a towel, washcloth, blanket, pillowcase if you got pillows in that jail. My jail never had pillows. What else? Sheets. They're going to give you a toothbrush. It's usually about this long. It's a tiny little toothbrush. It sucks so bad, man. And then they give you this toothpaste that is just god-awful, okay? That toothpaste that they give us when you first get in there, I usually use for cement, for using as glue, okay? To build arts and crafts, because that toothpaste is just awful. Now, there's also another thing. Usually when I go into a jail, it is absolutely freezing, okay? And I'm going to show you how to fix that at the end of this video. It's a little DIY trick, and everyone should know this when they go into a cell with a vent that is blowing freezing cold air out. And it seems like they always have cold air blowing out at all times of the year. It just seems like that, man. It's freezing. So I'll show you that at the end of the video. Next, once they dress you out and you're sitting there with your little box or bag and with all your stuff in it, they're going to give you the rules and regulations handbook. And you might want to keep that. If you've never been in jail, you're going to want to read it. It's going to give you all the information you need when it comes to writing, what your address is, how to work the phone systems, how to do commissary and canteen. They always give you a handbook showing you exactly how to do it, okay? And a lot of times they're not right. They're not correct. They'll even give you a handbook in the back. They'll show you all the charges that you could possibly get and what's consequences for them. I never really, after one time going to jail, you'll learn everything. You won't never need that handbook ever again, okay? You learn mostly from other inmates. Now, once they dress you out, you're going to be headed towards the population, okay? Population, it tends to get a little scary right then. I always get a little nervous going into population, even though I've been in and out numerous times. I always got a slight bit of nervousness to me, just for the simple fact that you don't know what you're getting into. Every time is different. Every time you go in, there's going to be new people, and you don't know what kind of people are in there, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's perfectly normal to be nervous when you go into population. Now, when you go into population, you're going to hope that someone else is coming in there with you, because it takes the heat all off of you if there's someone else coming in with you. I remember the first time that I went to jail, I was the only one going in the block, and I was red band, which was the highest security in the jail. And when I was just turned 18, like the day before, and not a lick of facial hair or anything, I went to this block, and it was intimidating. Everyone was staring right at me, man. Right at me. And it was just, it was definitely a learning experience. And soon that I realized that my charges were extremely bad, and I was facing a lot of time, and the block that I was in was the worst of the worst, okay? Also, when you step foot into the population, the guard is just going to let you go. That's it. They open the door and they close it. It's up to you to fend for yourself, okay? Always remember that. That's why I love that show 60 Days In, because it really shows you the correct ways of what happened. The only thing that they don't show on 60 Days In is the medical part. They don't show these guys getting tuberculosis shots and stuff like that. So when you get into the population, you're going to see that there's going to be a bunk open, or there's going to be a spot on the floor. Usually, in most jails, there's going to be a spot on the floor for you, okay? You're going to be sleeping on the floor until someone leaves the block, and then you can usually get a top bunk. And then if you're long enough and get a little more respect in the block, you're going to get a bottom bunk after people start leaving, okay? Always remember, jail is a revolving door. People are coming in and out all the time, okay? Going to prison, coming home from prison. Yeah, a lot of people that are about to come home from prison, they go to jail first. It's called like a re-entry program. They'll get used to being back to home and stuff like that. So yeah, people are going to prison, coming back from prison, going home, or coming back in from home. It's a revolving door. It is definitely a machine, and it makes money. Okay, always remember that. Jail is a moneymaker. Each inmate that is housed in that jail, the state gives that city a certain amount of money, okay, for each inmate. And so yeah, it's a money-making business. Anyways, once you get in there and you get settled in, you're gonna make your bed. I prefer you to make your bed nicely, okay? Inmates like a clean cell, most of them. So make your bed nice and neat, crisp, tie on your sheets properly, nice and tight, and get ready for the long haul, okay? You're going to make sure you have plenty of toilet paper. You're going to really try to find someone that you think you can connect with that is going to teach you everything about jail. Now, usually there's a barber that comes around like once a week or a month, and that's when you get your hair cut or stuff like that. And you're going to want to get a haircut because you're going to be going in and out of court, okay? Now, once you get into that population block, it won't be but about 24 hours before you go sit in front of a judge to talk about your bond, okay? If they ain't give you no bond and the magistrate, you're going to go to court within 24 hours and get arraigned for your attorney, whether you got a paid attorney or a public defender. There's two different types of courts, okay? There's general district, and that is the first court that you will go into. It's a lower court, like a misdemeanor court, okay? And it's usually hard. If you got a serious felony, when you go to this first bond hearing in general district court, you will usually get denied bond again, okay? Now, once it's denied in general district court, you will be moved to, you can appeal it. And the appeal goes to a higher court. It's called circuit court. And this usually is where all the felonies, high-end felonies, go to get a bond, okay? It's totally different than general district court. Now, if you got escapes on your record or fleeing from officers, stuff like that, you probably won't get a bond at all, okay? But usually in circuit court, you will get a bond, okay? That is the time that you get a bond. And when you appeal the general district court decision of no bond, you'll get into that circuit courtroom probably the next day, okay? You'll be in the higher courtroom usually the next day or a week, up to a week, depending on the jail and how busy it is. So yeah, once you get to circuit court, you'll more than likely get a bond, okay? Now, once you go through the bond process, you know, you can get a bondsman. Like I said, you're going to pay 10% of whatever the judge tells you your bond is, okay? Always remember that 10%. So if you get $1 million bond, hey, you can only pay $100,000 and get out. And now there's different ways to pay for these bonds, okay? You can pay with property, putting your house on paper, putting your house, signing over your house in case you don't show up, they can take your house. I've seen family members put their property on the line, and then their kid will go on the run. And the courts will come and seize the property that they put on the line for them to get that bond, okay? So always remember that. If you do not have the money, you can always use your assets, your property, in order for you to use to get out of jail on that bond. And you know what I did, I had a bondsman that I used all the time. She knew me, okay? She knew me. If I called her, I wouldn't even have to pay the 10% sometimes. She would pay it for me. She knew I was good for it, okay? She knew as soon as I got out, if I didn't have the money right then, she would pay it for me, and I would get out and give her the money later on down the road. So it's always nice to have a close contact bond agent working for you, okay? Because you never know if you're consistently going into jail. You want a good bondsman, and you want to keep it the same one so they know and you have credibility with them that you will pay them. But that's just in case you are always going to jail. And also, if you're always going to jail, just have a lawyer on retainer, okay? Retainer means you pay this law firm, you could pay as low as $40 a month, okay? $40 a month, and that lawyer will be there when you need them at any time, okay? Trust me. Once you have that, law firm on retaining, paying that little monthly bill, whatever they give you, you won't have to worry about an attorney ever again, because they will be there as soon as they know you're in jail. It's just how it is. Now, that's pretty much it. Once you get into jail and you get into population, I've told you stories about population and how to survive in jail. But that is it. You're going to be sitting in there going through that very first process, and I hope you can learn the ropes quick. I hope this video taught you a little bit of what you're going to be expecting to see when you first go into jail. There's other things that you don't see on TV, okay? And what I just explained is pretty much all of it. Now let me go ahead and show you one particular thing that you can get in trouble for this, okay? You can. That's why when they do inspections in the morning, usually jails, they have people that come and do inspections in the morning, make sure your cell is proper. And I would take it down. But I'm going to show you something really quick that every inmate does if it is freezing in that cell, or if it's just super hot and you need to turn off the AC and the heat. I'm going to show you right now. Alright, so I'm in my cell, aka bathroom, where I always show all the crazy stuff, okay? First thing you're going to need to turn down this AC or heat, you are going to need the toilet paper. Something very valuable in jail because it seems like you always run out of toilet paper before anything else. Now, what you're going to do with this toilet paper is you're going to roll up in your hand. Let me show you. You're going to make your hand wide like that, okay? And then you are going to wrap your hand with the toilet paper. Make it nice and thick, and then rip it off. And you're going to make it as wide as possible without, doing anything crazy. Now you're going to wet the toilet paper. Not soak it, just wet it. Okay, just like that. It's damp now. It's turning into like a wet cloth. But you do not want to soak it. So there you go. It's a little wet. Now let me show you. So you're going to take this and simply slam it down as hard as you can on it, okay? And this stuff, that's how you do it. You just constantly cake it on top of the vent. Now this toilet paper, man, when it dries up, it's like concrete, okay? It's like paper mache. It turns into concrete. No air is going to come out of your vent after you do that to it, okay? I can guarantee it. Every inmate has seen this no matter where you're at. Guaranteed. And this will be the way to keep yourself warm on the cold nights. I guarantee it. This is something that every single inmate does. Do not get it twisted. Jail is freezing. Well, there you have it. That's going to be your first day in jail, okay? I hope you enjoyed that little, how to keep warm in jail, okay? It's definitely vital to your living situations with that vent. But anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I'm definitely making another one today, so stay tuned. A bunch of people are asking me exactly what to expect when you walk into jail, and that is exactly what to expect. I've done other videos on what kind of inmates to expect and stuff like that and how to survive going into jail that first day. But this is the exact process of what's going to happen when you step foot into that jail, coming from the streets and trying to get a bond, okay? Anyways, don't forget, if you don't get a bond, don't go crazy, okay? Because I never got a bond sometimes, and it is what it is, okay? If you're gonna do the crime, be prepared to do the time, okay? That's the life of a gangster, man. Until the next time, death I bring. Boom!